We are, yeah, they say we are online, I guess. Yeah, we are live.
Awesome.
Cool.
Excited to be here,
Super
Ava.
happy.
Now I'm in
Yeah,
your
I'm happy
now I'm in your
to
space.
yes, do you hear me, see me?
I do. Loud
Perfect.
and clear.
We are live, Sandy. I'm super happy to have you on the board today. The other time I was visiting your live, so yeah, I'm happy to have you. It's early morning for you. It's late afternoon for me. I'm here together with Sandy, and you will tell us a quick story about yourself in a minute. I'm just curious to have these discussions with my like-minded friends, and Sandy is
Hmm.
one of them. Sandy is always popping out in my feed with his motivational videos, very thoughtful, posts, and I want to speak with Sandy today more on communications, storytelling, building relationships, and bond with our audience. This is our topic today. But Sandy, I give the mic to you. Just give us a short intro of Sandy.
I'll try. I'll try. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Ava. First of all, last time you were in my space, and now I'm in yours. So here we are. My story definitely is an interesting one. I also think it's very interesting how we tell our own stories. So here I go. I was born in the Dominican Republic in 1998. Came to New York City in 2003 when I was 5 years old. And around that age, I remember, being very interested in the dream world. I was lucid dreaming, and I was also very interested about how we were in one country and now we were in another. That really formulated a lot of who I became, who I developed to be over school in my earlier years. Was very much on that side of, well, what am I looking for here? What am I wanting to create? Because of my dream world and being able to see so many amazing things happen on so early on, I kept asking myself, well, who do I want to be? Who am I going to create myself to be? And in high school, from like 14 to 18, really just putting myself together and asking myself, how do I want to make money? I really enjoyed the online space because I was spending a lot of time in the online space, learning how to do things on YouTube. And it was just an easy choice for me because YouTubers were making a lot of money back in 2017, 2016. I decided to go into the content creation space. I started creating for different professionals other than myself. And the route just took me to, you know what? I do know how to tell stories and I know how to help other people tell stories. Why don't I do it a little bit more courageously? And I went all in on freelancing after traveling the world with one of the entrepreneurs I found online. Came back to New York City and went all in on freelancing and started my agency in 2021. And it's just been me doing what I do well for myself, for other professionals. And here we are, 2024, just helping entrepreneurs at least start posting weekly. I think posting weekly is very, very hard. So I help them unlock themselves, just like how I did for myself, and create their own reality through social media marketing. There you go. That was the fastest I've ever said that story.
It wasn't fast. It was really deep, actually. But you say you help them, the others, now to unlock their courage. But what helped you to unlock? How did you find this curiosity in this field? You say you just went online, but why online? Why communications? Why this took the part in your life? This
Yeah,
direction?
great question, and I love the word that you use because it definitely was curiosity. I think most people approach this conversation of telling their story online as something that they might be afraid of, whereas for me, it was something that I was very curious about. I didn't have much to be afraid of when I first got started. I already was being told that I was lazy and that I had a lot of potential, but was just falling short. So I was okay with not knowing everything and not looking super polished. So when I first heard about the online space, I was approaching it from a point of curiosity. I was watching other people do it. I was playing video games, and then I was learning how to achieve what I wanted in those video games with searching something up on YouTube. And when I learned about how to become a more successful entertainer and comedian, I was studying Kevin Hart because he was one of the biggest and still is one of the biggest. And he, in his first book, spoke about how he used Facebook to to essentially acquire more attention. And so I just kept following my intuition, and my intuition told me to do that for myself. And I just applied a lot of curiosity, and I allowed myself to be a student and to know that I didn't know everything. And one thing led to another. I was just making content trying to be found by other individuals.
But you mentioned the curiosity and this thing that you discovered that tracking attention towards you is something you will pursue. But do you agree that you are a different generation, and not always we get in partnerships with our clients, partners who are the same age as we are, and they feel comfortable in online world, and tracking this attention, like you said, to entertain people and work on it as a normal communication channel to be online. How do you find that? What is the way how you can discover like these muscles and open up those people who feel this is something new and they feel very fragile on opening up on online space?
Hmm. I would approach that with how you would approach anything challenging, and it requires a lot of love and attention. Requires a lot of intimacy. So I agree that I am from a different generation. I think my generation and younger, we've had the time and attention to focus on technology the way other generations have not been able to, but the protocol for learning it is still the same protocol as I would learn anything else. I think, for example, people in my generation and younger have a very hard time socializing because they've learned how to spend a lot of time with themselves and with technology. And that's something that a lot of people in older generations can understand. It's weird for Gen Zers out here to date because they're used to dating on Tinder and all these social apps. However, it's still possible that we could learn it. It just requires the time and attention. So, my recommendation for anyone that has felt like they haven't had the time and attention and intimacy to learn how to better navigate the online space, just give it time and attention, give it intimacy, give it love. Understand that everything can be broken down simpler. It doesn't need to be overwhelming. If it feels overwhelming, it might just be the way that you are explaining it to yourself. The online space is just about connecting humans with other humans, and we have to do it in a way that people feel. And when you're online and you're absorbing content, because we all absorb content, you just need to be spoken to in a way that you feel something. And so if you are struggling to make others feel something online, know that that is okay. First and foremost, that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means that there is an opportunity for you to learn this new skill. And that skill, just like any other skill, requires time and attention.
It's beautiful. What I find channel challenging, that people quite often question themselves why they should be online. They try to find different ways to build their business, to build communication, build relationship, but try to avoid going on public, going online, and building their brand, like personal brand presence online. Why would you recommend to have online presence? Why it's important?
Yeah, it's important because it's the new way that people connect. You can connect with others in person still, but this world is only becoming more and more demanding. This economy is only becoming more and more demanding. And so, if you wanted to reach 200 people in 5 minutes, you
Sure.
got to post online. You got to post online. So I recommend it because your customers, and the relationships that you are looking for can be found much easier online.
Yeah, it's just from your perspective and from my perspective, it's just something that we do every day. But for so many people, they still observe and use content as a viewers, but they make decision that it's not for them. They will try some other ways. But well, how do you feel how you have built your brand, like Sandy? But I mean, what do you feel? What is brand? I could comment after you how I feel it, but
Yeah.
it's very interesting. I'm curious. How do you feel? What is brand in general, and what is your brand? How it has built?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good question, um, because these labels and these words can mean something different to anyone. And so,
Yeah,
brand to me is the magnet that you use to attract others to you. Um, and so, there are different ways, different strategies you can build that magnet. Um, that magnet for me, I've decided to create it in a way that it attracts people that are prepared to dive deep with me. I think it's important that people dive deep with me. So my brand is very much what I'm interested in, who I am, and it's very fluid. It's not something that is solid like my company brand. My personal brand is very fluid, and I decided to make it that way because I want to attract people that really align with me on a deep level. But brand is just, it could be anything. It could be, it's just the magnet that you use, the words that you use, the content that you use. It's whatever you disguise it as, it's still your magnet that is used to attract other people to you. Um, everybody has a different strategy. That's my strategy, and I think it works really well. It gives me constant referrals. It gives me constant, deep, relationships. So that's the way I use it. But everybody has different strategies. What's your strategy, Eva?
yeah. Just one question in between. How do you feel? Is it possible just to start build a personal brand, or is it already established, or it's like coming together with you as a one pack the whole life? How do you feel? Is it that we started at some point?
It depends on what you are looking for. I realize that all this at the end of the day comes down to awareness and balance. So if you are looking at it from the perspective of, my business is so deeply emotionally connected to my purpose and my heart, then yes, you've been doing it all along.
True.
You've been doing it all along. If you are looking at it from the perspective of my business is just one of the businesses that just generates me cash. If my business is just one of the businesses that generates me cash, then you want to just think about, you want to separate it from you and think about what you need it to attract. So it really depends on how you like to build your business. I've come across two main archetypes. There's
Yeah.
a type of person that wants to build a business with their heart, and then there's a type of person that wants to build a business with their mind, and they just want their business to be simple, black and white. It's a barbershop, not a therapy, not a therapist,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person where I'm like, why can't it be both? It really depends on what you need. What you need. Do you need fulfillment, or do you need just company simple structure?
Yeah, why I ask you this is that quite often I meet people who come to me and they say, "Yeah, but I need to start to build my personal brand." It's like, wait, how old are you? For example, person with 40 years, life background. I mean, if your personal brand is already with you all the 40 years, you don't have to start to build it. It's just maybe you have to, start to make it more visible on some online space, that platform. But it's already been building your reputation. It's been building throughout all of your experiences. So it's at those moments I try to reassure these people that it's fine. You have already, your brand is already there. We just need to, help you to understand how it becomes more visible in some online spaces. For example, me and you, we met on LinkedIn, but I know you use Instagram and other platforms, YouTube and so on. So I find it funny but necessary to explain people that don't have this imposter. Your brand is already with you, and I feel like you asked me about my strategy. Somehow I feel the personal brand is something that people feel about you. How they see you. It's just all of your actions and ideas and thoughts, and how you come up to the world, and how you help, and then they build up some understanding who you are, what you do, how you can be helpful, and if they want to
Mhm.
stick around you for the next couple of years as well. Yeah, it's cool. But I want to ask you, on Instagram you have this nick, I'm Super Sandy, and then you have this uh, in description line you have your Sandy D Rodriguez Cruz. What is D? What is D? I'm curious.
So my full
Because on
name.
LinkedIn, yeah, because on LinkedIn you have different names, Sandy the Jesus.
Yes, exactly. So that my full name is Sandy the Jesus Rodriguez Cruz.
Yes.
That's my full name. And that too is very much conversation about branding. I ask myself, how do I want to attract, and what kind of potential energy do I want in who I attract? And so I much more closely like to brand myself as Sandy the Jesus, only because for me it is a personal conversation of who I am and not who this world wants me to quickly identify as. Yes, my birth name is Sandy the Jesus Rodriguez Cruz, but I'm more like the name Sandy the Jesus because it's my first name and my middle name. And to me, it starts the conversation of spirituality. And it starts the conversation of, well, who is Jesus? And to me, Jesus is just a figure of abundant love, unconditional love. So I am Sandy from Unconditional Love, Sandy the Jesus. So that's how I go about it. But the Super Sandy part is also to a conversation of branding, because there's a super Yeva and there's a super someone in all of us. And really, what that means is unlocking yourself and becoming infinite. And that's knowing who you are. I love your point that you just made about you when you talk to professionals, you like to help them realize that they've been doing it all along. And that's a really great conversation to have with someone when they are confused, because you're right. Regardless of what you're trying to build, you've been doing it all along. And by the way, phenomenal sales technique, because when people are like trying to value you and put wrap their head around your worth, you first can talk to them about, well, how is your branding already working? Conversation about awareness. How many leads have you spoken to last week? How many leads have you spoken to last month? Why aren't you attracting a consistent amount? Do you have a system? Oh, you don't have a system because you can't consistently go to networking events? Well, did you know that there is a networking event going on 24/7 on 6 different platforms? So that is a really good conversation to have with someone, um, and you can start that conversation there of, well, your name, who you identify as, the role that you give yourself. That's all personal branding. I'm surprised you didn't bring up to the modern day Pocahontas line. A lot of people will come to me and they're like, Sandy, what is a modern day Pocahontas?
No, I didn't pop in my eyes, but what I saw that you are into, how you say on LinkedIn the description, you say that you're passionate about storytelling and helping people to connect with their audiences, but there is something else besides personal brand. it's the basement? Is it connected with personal brand, or it's something connected with some other dimension?
Uh, yeah, they're all different dimensions within the same universe. That's the way I like to look at it. The basement is a group coaching platform that I created because I very much am building a business with my heart, and I wanted to create a ladder of tools and solutions for people to be able to climb. I know that not everyone is perfect for us, but if you're interested and you just want information, we created the basement. The basement is $50 a month. It's much more affordable than my one-on-one, and it's a conversation around awareness and branding, because in order to grow anything you need to know the interior and the exterior. So the basement, we speak a lot about core values, we speak a lot about stress management. That's the interior stuff. There's a lot more to that, but we also speak about the exterior stuff of, well, what is marketing? How do you spend your time? What is time management? So the basement has just become a location online that I've created where people can build their foundation. I spent the first few years of my life here in New York City living in basements. So even the name to me is just about, setting the roots up, like a seed, how a seed plants its roots first. It's like that. The basement is very much about building the foundation to who you are, so that everything you build beyond that point is built with clarity, with structure, strength, awareness, all that.
Do you think that there's this saying that any kind of city, they're never ready, they're never complete? Do you feel that you can be complete and you can grow to at a point that your brand and your everything is set as the best, and you know I somehow feel that it's something like you said, it's very fluent, it's just the flow. You never know where you're going to be in 2 or 5 years. Even if you think today that you probably will change a lot.
Sure. 100%. I mean, the journey of personal, my brand, my story is never over until my brain stops working. When my brain decides to go from all the elements that it currently is, and it wants to get into the soil and turn into other stuff with the help of worms, and mushrooms and stuff like that. Like, my story is never over because the mind is kind of like a fire. You know how, like, you look at a fire and it's never still, it's always unraveling and
Yeah.
consuming, and it's on fire. So that's how I look at myself as well. um as long as I have the ability to think, I will always be growing and transforming.
but
um
yeah
so
but
so that's my answer.
yeah, it's very nice that while you grow, that you put a lot of effort in sharing, with us. This is how I found your videos. I really live with your videos. I really enjoy the
Oh, thank you.
transformation of you, because during the, I don't know, I'm following you for more than a year, I guess, but you have transformed. Maybe in the beginning I saw your earlier videos. Now I see your present videos, but still
Yeah,
it's like different person. You're always in a move. How did you, how would you describe your tone of voice, or the messaging, or
yeah.
the message, or the mission transformation during, some last years, for you, how it has developed?
That's a great question. And it goes back to what we spoke about earlier. The magnet, my strategy behind my magnet, the strategy behind my brand is to set people up for a deep relationship with me. And so my tone of voice is very much humility, and leadership. I want to show people that I'm just like them, and I want to show people that I can always find the strength within me to create. So it's a mixture of humility and inspiration. I'm just like you, and just like you, I have the ability to create. I really, want to help people with their creativity and imagination on my page, and I want to help them find abundance first within themselves. I do it in a way of just, being honest and being humble, exposing myself. The more I can expose myself to myself, and the more I can expose myself to others, the more liberated I feel. So I try to lead by example and show people that they can do the same, but I first do it by, doing it the best that I can. I just want to attract deep relationships, truthfully. I want to have relationships with people online that changes lives. I've seen a lot of this already happen, so that's why I believe in it so much. And that's the magnet. That's the strategy behind everything that I do, truthfully.
I have this. Sometimes I have these. It's very nice experiences. I really appreciate these situations when people approach me and they say, "Yeah, I really like you. I really like what you're writing. I really feel that I know you for a time, but I don't know what is your service. But I'm sure I want to work with you." And
There
this
it
is
is.
something. This is something I feel. This is something I feel about you as well, because all of the posts, they're never about, come with me, I'll do this and this for your company, but it's always about something related to your, mindset, about sharing others and helping them to grow. And if I have a chance to see your profile, then on banner and headline, okay, I see some, some technical information. Okay, Sandy is also giving some services, but in the
Correct.
content, you have this different flow. How do you feel? What is better? Because people sometimes feel, I don't want to, advertise myself, I don't feel confident, I don't feel that it's a good way to go like this salesy approach. And this is the way you do. You don't go the salesy way, but
Mhm.
somehow the business is coming through
Yeah, it
you
is.
being yourself.
It is. I you will always become what you're fascinated with. That's something that I've learned. And so I am fascinated with the idea of abundance on earth. And so I'm always like, no one has to push me. I could be starving and dehydrated, but my mind will still on its own want to figure out how to add more love to the situation. So it works for me because I'm being honest and I'm being real, right? And by me being honest and being transparent and courageous, people can feel it. And so they approach me as well, Yeva, and they go, Sandy, I'm not really sure what you do, but I trust you. And I go, good. I go, great. You should trust me because I trust myself and I try to, vibrate that onto my platform, that I trust myself. And the more that I do that, the more people trust me to help them. And so if you can
Sure.
trust me to help you, then that means that if I tell you, hey, Eva, I can help you with this, you trust me. What I've
Hmm.
realized is that a lot of the relationships I'm attracting now, people need people want us to take leadership in their life. How could you ever trust anyone to take leadership in your life if you don't trust them? And so I'm big on building trust. Yes, the technical skills are there. I could help you, I could make you a coffee or I could make you content. To me, it's the same thing because I'm still going to do it my way. I'm going to do it the Sandy way. And if I do it the Sandy way, it'll add value to your life. So that it works for me because I'm very fascinated with abundance. If you are the kind of person that um, really flows really well with privacy, and you're fascinated with solitude and with the stoicism. I've met a lot of these people. I call them snipers. They just like to be left alone. They don't want anybody to bother them. If you're more like that, then you probably want a brand strategy that does exactly what I just said, but with a different, with a almost like a mask, with like, you gotta like take the identity and make it something else, not you. I like to make my business about me because I use my heart so closely with my process. If I was a surgeon, my heart is my scalpel. You know, it's how I cut you open and how we talk about the things that are going to make an impact in your life. So it really comes down to awareness. The strategy is still the same. You just have to know whether or not you are leading or something else is leading on your behalf. Once you figure that out, it's really just about how can you get people to trust you, because at the end of the day, regardless of what it is, whether it be babysitting their child, washing their car, or scaling their business, they still need to be able to trust you and your words.
How do you feel you describe, where do you get love for yourself to be, able to share this love with people through the process? How you help them, to overcome their challenges and grow strength in building their communication? Where do you get your love?
Yeah,
Where
where do I
it
get my
comes
love? That's
from?
another great question. I do it. I get my love for myself. I give it to myself, and I get it back. I've also realized that there's two parts of me. There's the conscious part of me, and there's the unconscious part of me. And I realized that the unconscious part of me has been giving me love unconditionally. And when I acknowledge that part of myself and I show it love, there's this conversation that happens every day with myself of how much I love myself. And so I make sure that every day that I focus on working on myself first. I have a whole template that I follow that I'm thinking about releasing soon, for the public, of how I focus on myself first, then I focus on my business, and then I work in my business. So as long as I do that every day, I start the day with setting up the proper foundation of acknowledging how much I love myself, and spending time with myself in that love. And from there, it just sprouts out into how I work on my business and how I work in my business.
I recall listening Brian Tracy, this great mind, giving us a lot of sales support. He had this saying, "I love myself." I sometimes use it as a hashtag, in posts, because everything starts. And sometimes when we struggle, we have to go back to the roots, like you say. Then
100%.
we find the foundation, we set the foundation back on the track, and then we can move forward. But for the communication, I think it's fundamental. You have to understand that you bring value to other people, that you are here to help them, and you are not here to sell or to promote, but to help. And people need you, need that you can offer. And then from this loving perspective, it's much easier to go out with communication. How do you feel?
100%. It, everything changed for me when I stopped creating products and I started creating solutions.
Yeah.
Like, when I can tell someone, hey, this is not a product, this is not an accessory, this is not jewelry, this is a solution. Like, when I started to do that, I was like, oh yeah, that feels good. And you know, if it kind of works for you, or if it would only work for you if you had the money, it's not a solution. It's like you first have to fix yourself and then expand that so that you could fix everything you touch. And when I say fix, it's knowing whether it's a problem or a dichotomy. Some problems can be fixed, some problems have to be managed. You know, me, I'm a dichotomy. I have to manage myself every day. With an email campaign, I can fix that. I can fix that. So when I first acknowledged that protocol of, okay, I have to love myself, I have to show myself love, what are the solutions that are truly healing me and not just a band-aid on top of the problem? Once I played with that with myself a little bit, I expanded it, I fixed my business. I got rid of the people in my business that weren't, you know, in alignment with my business. I fixed my manifestation nucleus. And now everything inside of this nucleus is manifesting more alignment, more opportunities that are great opportunities, not long term, not great opportunities that are great for 2 months and then it's a nightmare in 3 months. like I just keep expanding it. And that's really what the whole game is for me, is expanding true abundance. And it first starts with myself. So I stopped creating products, I started creating solutions, and I just expanded it. I first started with myself, and then I spread it into my business. And I think that's why clients trust us, and that's why clients have conversations with us every month that get deeper and realer and just greater. It's awesome.
But Sandy, we have to touch this point as well, because you mentioned the solutions. Maybe it's even the change you help others. That you offer the change. That you help with the change. And could you be more specific? What is the change? What is your service? What are the solutions you provide? Let's be very very
The
specific.
technical. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
so this
yeah.
so the
I'm
specific.
curious.
Yeah, the specific technical skills is first really just understanding what you truly need. You might need leads. And so if you need leads, you need marketing. So we do videos, we do video editing, we do carousels, we do graphics. We first build a system that generates you leads. From there, it's figuring out, how do you earn more trust? How do you become a better leader, a more qualified leader? A lot of that work requires personal development and time with a professional. So we also offer one-on-one consulting. We offer consulting through my group coaching platform, through the basement. And from there, it's just about expanding you. Do you long term want to do a podcast? Do you want to document your transformation and do online YouTube documentaries? We can do all of it, but we first know it's a conversation of awareness and stability. So we help you generate leads for your services. We help you raise the prices on your services. That's like level two stuff. We help you streamline your process and scale your business, hire assistants, all that stuff. We do it all. So very specifically, it starts with just, okay, how do we help you market your current services? And then how do we help you grow from there? hmm we tackle quite a lot.
But it's like you are actually like personal business partner, helping to grow. Yeah,
I love
it's
that. Personal business partner.
yeah. I don't know how to describe it. Those words came together. It's like you are a business partner, but then you are a personal partner, because you help the leader, the
I
brand,
love
the
that.
company, and the people who represent the company grow themselves, so the brand can grow. Otherwise, it's stuck. But I think you mentioned earlier the interior and exterior, do those two words, and then this, which you mentioned, that first you give the sprint help, the leads, the marketing, and then you help with this marathon, support, developing in depth. I think this is so complex, but this is so vital. Like you say, what you can provide it all together. And this for me is like, whoa. It's
Yeah.
super cool to hear it now. It's
Yeah,
so
you know,
important.
I appreciate that feedback, and it is so needed, right? Like, so many of us want to help our families, and it is so hard because like we have to do 12 different jobs just to help our families. And I know how hard it is, and I know that it can be not only easier, but better for everyone involved overall when we work together. Working together is hard also. So I know how much it's needed, which is why we've done everything the way that we've done. And it requires an immense amount of trust, which is why we generate leads first. We get you to trust us on a basic level, and then we grow from there. It is so needed. You have no idea. Like, I want to help all the business owners we work with um, be alive. I want their businesses to be alive for the next however many years they want, decades, not just a few years. And I think that it is so rare in our reality to find partnerships like that. But like I said, I'm fascinated with, how do I increase the abundance in this world? And so a lot of that is, I have to lead by example. I have to be vulnerable in my content. I have to be vulnerable with the way that I tell leaders I want to help them. I have to be vulnerable with myself. But it's so needed. I agree. It's very hydrating.
Yeah, not everybody is ready for the marathon in building their leadership, right? Most of the businesses and partners, they want this sprint activity, establish, generate, receive, happy, popular. Well,
Mhm.
well, well, money is coming, but um, what is like you described this challenge, that people are not ready to go this long run still. But I think for you it's opportunity, have different sets, like for the sprinters, for the marathon runners. It's opportunity for you to be diverse in your offering as well. But what is your next, I would say, challenge or curiosity? Because we could, to wrap up this conversation, how would you describe, what do you feel for you is your next, uh, yeah, challenge, curiosity? You know better how where to put it.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. So, what's next for me, the biggest thing that I'm really excited about is, getting to seven figures. Like I to put it like you said, there is sprinters and marathon runners, but everyone has to deal with some kind of darkness in their life. You may feel like your business is sprinting, but how is the relationship with your partner? How is the relationship with your children? How is the relationship with your body? You may be sprinting in business, but you're always on a marathon. Life, like I told you, you're always unraveling and always growing. So it's kind of like one of those things. And so just, I wanted to make that point, because for me, I've done a phenomenal job of, keeping my fire on, my fireplace on throughout all of these different adventures in my business. What I'm very curious about is what will happen when I have a lot of resources and what that'll do to me. Very curious about what I will do when, like for example, the immigrant in me, I've always wanted a Lamborghini. As much as I'm all about patience and gratitude, I want a Lamborghini, So what's gonna happen there? I'm very
how are the,
curious.
how are the streets in New York City?
Oh
Are
no, no.
they
I'm not gonna get it here. I'm not gonna get it here. But I do know if I get a Lamborghini, I gotta get ready to pay to get it fixed constantly. But my next adventure is really just is building a colony. Like right now, I have a really nice small like camping camping thing, and everything is easy because I don't have too many expenses and stuff like that. But as I get older, I want to build a kingdom, and I want to build somewhere that the people I care about feel safe, and that is something that I'm very curious about, and I'm very excited for that adventure. That's my next adventure, is taking this business to a seven-figure business, and helping more people. And how do I handle more relationships? And how do I handle more employees? With great power comes great responsibility, to quote Spider-Man. So I'm excited for that.
I'm excited for hearing and having you today, Sandy. I appreciate. For the final words, so where can people find you? And yeah, what's the best sources where they can follow you, find you?
Yeah, the best place to find me is definitely on Instagram. Uh, at I am Super Sandy, literally the letter I, letter M, Super Sandy. And then also our website at goanomalous.com. Uh, you know, anomalous is the root word for anomaly. So we're all about deviating from the norm, and the best way you can deviate from the norm is by being yourself. So that's where you can find me.
Super, super, super happy for you to share, and enjoy your Thursday. I see it's sunny. I see it's sunny. I was really happy to have you, and we discovered something that I never knew about you. I appreciate for sharing, and everybody, thank you for listening. Who was able to join us live, or who will be listening it after on LinkedIn or YouTube, and till next time, till next conversation,
Yeah.
Sandy.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you for inviting me. I had a blast.
Bye.